Hello and good morning. Welcome so much to Odoo Live. Here today with me is Andrew Stats, a business advisor and resident Odoo expert, today to talk about the maintenance app. So thanks so much for joining us, Andrew.
Hi, everyone. No problem. Thanks, Clark. I'm going to spend about 25 minutes talking about our maintenance application and how it relates to other applications within Odoo. And right now, I'm going to toss it back to Clark.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Andrew. And today, just to clarify, my name is Todd.
Sorry, Todd.
You're all good. No, it's so good, man. And I'm a community manager here at Odoo. Just want to let you know, if you guys like this video, want to find out more about future videos, please be sure to click subscribe. And if you have any questions throughout the duration of this video, just enter them to the right in the chat box, and I'll be either tossing them to Andrew or saving them for the end, where he'll walk through any Q&As that we have. And if we're not able to answer them at that point, then we can pass them to Andrew, and he can answer them directly with his email, which is ast@odoo.com. And if you guys want to tune in for future webinars and stuff, be sure to check out our events page. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Twitter. And with that, Andrew, thanks so much for joining us, and I'll kick it off to you, man.
Thank you, Todd. Sorry about that.
No, you're good, man.
A little nervous this morning, guys. So I'm going to start with this little presentation. It's just going to kind of cover what I'm going to talk about. We're going to focus on maximizing uptime of your equipment and machinery within your factory or business in general, in terms of making sure you guys are getting the best use out of your machinery and maximizing uptime. So I'm going to start with a brief introduction of the maintenance application, where to find it on Odoo, and how to install it, and then we're going to move into setting up the application, how to set up your equipments, and then we're going to talk about managing your maintenance pipeline. Brief coverage of the parts that go into a bill of materials that that run through your manufacturing process, and then finally I'm going to wrap it up with reporting. All right, so let's get ready. Excuse me. Sorry. Here we go. All right, so notice that I already have the maintenance application built in for this demo here. And normally where you would find it is in our apps tab that you're always going to see anytime you download Odoo or use Odoo. There are two kind of correlated applications. One is maintenance and one is equipments. They're pretty much almost, equipments can be installed on its own, and that allows you to manage just recording, what equipment you have on hand, whether it be a laptop or a piece of manufacturing or machinery. And maintenance is actually the kind of the additional standalone that ties into manufacturing application and the equipment's application. And this is what bridges the both and let you schedule some maintenance, repairs, and document the work that's been done to repair or scrap your machinery. So now that I've already installed this, it's quite simple to install this if you haven't already. Obviously, these little install buttons. I do recommend you, if you haven't installed it yet and you're interested in installing it and playing around with it, you do it on a duplicate database of your existing working database. This way, there are no issues if you want to uninstall it later on, and that is my general recommendation. So let's get back out of here and go to our basic view of our Odoo dashboard. Now let's jump into our maintenance application. So also notice that when you have both the maintenance and equipment's applications installed, they are combined into one icon here, and it's typically going to be labeled as maintenance. So let's get in there. All right. So we have, this is your dashboard of maintenance, and what you're going to see here is you're going to have a group of each one of these boxes is a maintenance team. So whether it's internal maintenance, computer maintenance, subcontractor, metrology, not sure what that means. But anyways, what you can do is within each one of these, you have this kind of these three buttons up here, which is kind of your more button. And you already have kind of a quick shortcut to a lot of these things within your maintenance team, within what their subcategories are and what their pipeline is looking like. So we could set up maintenance requests directly within the subcontractor. But if you want to create a new one, this is how you do it. You go to more. Typically, when you see this from the start, you're not going to have any team set up. So there'll typically be a create button right here. But since there are some that are already set up, the way we set up new teams is basically going to settings. We save the existing one and we create a new one. So let's say, let's say we'll create a outdoor or exterior maintenance team. Maintenance. And how do I spell maintenance? All right. And then here you can add the specific team members to this. So if you were, say, doing if your business was like in property management or something, and you had an exterior maintenance team that was going around, checking on maintenance of a building, looking at, any leaks, or looking at like pumps and machinery and things like that, this would probably be a good team name for that type of maintenance team. We could assign team members. I'm currently logged in as the administrator of this database, so we'll assign John Doe as the team member that's going to be in charge of exterior maintenance. We'll go ahead and save that. So now we have it saved. We could go back. Notice also here you can kind of tab between your different maintenance teams if you want to edit them. But let's go back to our dashboard here, and we're going to see our exterior maintenance. So notice how each one of these teams has these little green buttons or teal buttons here that tell you if there are any maintenance requests or things that need to be done. So if you go to exterior maintenance, let's log in. Let's go into this team. Now this is what we call a Kanban view, where you kind of have these columns. And what we can do here is modify the title of these columns. So new requests, that makes sense. You can decide whether it's folded in the pipe, which is similar to these other two I'll show in a second. You can determine what sequence in terms of what level this column is going to be on, whether it's the first column in your Kanban or your second one. And then request done is really kind of the column when you completed a task, whether it's you've repaired it or you've had to scrap something. This is typically reserved for columns or stages towards the end of your maintenance Kanban view. So I'll kind of get into that in a second, so we'll save that. So notice that these are folded, which are, we take a look here, they're folded, and they also request done. So these are final stages of your maintenance process. And if we just click, we just go ahead and fold this, it kind of folds back into it. So this is the basics of your setting up of your maintenance chart. So right here, you have in progress, repairs. This kind of makes sense. I'm not going to modify it, but you can also hit this plus sign here, and this is where you add new maintenance requests. So let's try creating one real quick. Let's do, let's do fix. This is the fix computer. So this is how you manually kind of go in and add a maintenance request for something. So we go in there, and this is the team that's been assigned to exterior maintenance. Really, though, this is probably more of an internal maintenance thing. So we'll change that. Even though we were in exterior maintenance Kanban earlier, or pipeline, we could still change this from here. We could change who is the requester, which in this case I am. We could pick the piece of computer or equipment that we need to fix. So we could say HP laptop here. We'll say that, and then we could determine this logs when the request date was submitted. We could determine what type of maintenance type it is, whether it's preventative, whether you just go in and you're like clearing out any dust that's built into the laptop. That's more of a preventative. Usually, when something's broken, then it's corrective. So we'll say it's corrective. And this is manufacturing order is really, we'll get into this later, but that's tied to if a piece of machinery or equipment breaks down mid-manufacturing a work order, then this is something you link it to later on and have a record of when this broke down. And we'll get into this much more later on. And here we could talk about which user is responsible for repairing this. So back to John Doe, he seems to be a jack of all trades here. We'll just have him take care of this as well. And then we could schedule this date for when they're going to fix this. So let's say tomorrow they're gonna knock this out, and it's take them about maybe an hour. And we can determine what priority this maintenance request would be, whether it's 3 stars, 2 stars. So we higher priority, obviously 3 stars is pretty nice computer. I don't know. And then finally, you could log some internal notes here, maybe documenting what's wrong with the computer. Say, mouse is not responding, screen turns blue. We all know that screen. And there you go. We can just do that and save that. And then, for those of you that have been using Odoo for quite a while, I'm sure you're no stranger to Chatter. So here you could send a message, and this is tied to sync to your email. You can email someone directly, or you could use the @ sign and just send a message to someone within your organization. At John Doe, fix this computer, and this will come up in his email or within this Chatter function here, which is what we have, coming up, showing all our discussions and chats and things like that. You can log an additional note about the product, about the issue, and finally, you could schedule activities. Maybe you want to call, excuse me. Maybe you want to call someone or call HP to talk about the warranty or something like that. You could schedule all this stuff for December 1st. We'll schedule that for a call, and these are things we can do. And notice that there's a picture here. That's supposed to be the administrator, or in this case, me. However, I'm not blonde nor wearing a tie. But regardless, this picture lets you see who is in charge of each one of these assignments. So we'll just go ahead. We've gone ahead and kind of marked this up. We'll exit this maintenance request. Let's go back to maintenance teams, actually. So let's go into internal maintenance, which is where I assigned this. Notice I started an exterior maintenance when I created that maintenance request, but I assigned it to someone in internal maintenance. So internal maintenance was at 3, now it's at 4. And this is the one that I just, which one? Fix computer, yeah. This was me, the one I just assigned. And yeah, so reopen request. So back to maintenance here. So this in our view here is, each one of these people have a photo of who's in charge of that maintenance request here. You could easily, change the priority here by just clicking the stars. And notice that I have a scheduled task here. That's why that clock is green. And yeah, that's essentially how you kind of do a manual maintenance request. So from here, let's move into equipments and work centers. So let's start with equipments and look at our machines and tools that we have set up. So that HP laptop that I just sent a request for, notice that there's another request in here as well. So let's click on this HP laptop. These are where your maintenance requests are going to show up in these maintenance tools, and this is going to be tied to the work center that it's being used on. If we go in here and edit this thing, we could categorize it into whatever type of equipment category it is. We can assign it to another maintenance team, and obviously HP laptop's going to be internal maintenance or maybe computer maintenance. But since it's already in the internal maintenance maintenance team, we'll just go ahead and keep it in internal maintenance. We could change the technician. It'll change it back to John Doe. And then here you could actually specify where it's located. So this is helpful if you have obviously a fleet of laptops or computers for your company, and each one of these is assigned to a specific person that's being used in your organization. You could say, this guy is assigned to, the third floor assembly line, something like that. And then here, where it's tied to the work center that it is being used for, we could get into that in a bit. But yeah, this is where you kind of set up the basic information about the product and the equipment that you're using. And then we go into product information. Here is where we can talk about where the vendor that you bought this from, and then if there's a purchase order or PO that we could look at. I'll show you how this works in a second. And then here is typically when you bring this product into your inventory of within use in your company, you're probably going to want to log the serial number and the model number. And then this is kind of here where I mentioned earlier about the warranty. You could establish what day the warranty ends. So, you could be more proactive in terms of managing this product, deciding whether you want to return it or scrap it or work something out with the vendor in terms of replacing it before the warranty runs out. And then finally, here in maintenance is these are the big kind of reporting factors that I mentioned earlier. These are the parameters that we kind of look at. Preventative maintenance frequency is, you could set this up so that every 30 days something is scheduled to come and look at this laptop, and then maintenance duration, we should say it'll take an hour. So this allows you to schedule preventative maintenance, and also alerts the user that every month you're going to have an hour of your time where this laptop will be not usable by you. So go take a lunch. So that's how that works. And then this expected mean time between failure, this is something that Odoo is going to calculate for you, but you can also put in some numbers in there if you want to enter something that you expect it to be in terms of how many days you expect it to fail between maintenance and how often you need to go ahead and provide support for it. So we'll just leave this as 0 right now because we really don't expect our equipments to fail, and we know they eventually will, but ideally they don't. So we'll go ahead and save this, and estimated next failure. This is all going to be calculated by Odoo, and this is be a factor of our overall equipment effectiveness, and yeah. And then here again is chatter. So you can actually, we talked about it earlier, send messages, log notes about this specific piece of equipment. So let's go into our maintenance request that we were submitted for this product. So both these, the one I just created and this other one here, were submitted about maintenance. Actually, I want to go into one thing here I forgot to mention. Within product information, since we know the vendor, so this is because of Odoo, we can actually just try and see if we could find the purchase order, at least look at the vendor here. So this is the vendor ASUS, and these are all our contacts within ASUS. But specifically, let's look at what we purchased from ASUS. So if we go to purchases, and we look at one of these older purchase orders here, it might have been one of these laptops. In this situation, I don't think any of these purchase orders relate to that HP laptop. However, this is a great way to utilize Odoo's breadcrumbs. So instead of having to go through exit maintenance, we could just click HP laptop, and we're back at our laptop equipment. All right. Cool. So next thing I want to go into is so we covered kind of the setup, and now we're going to kind of get into managing your pipeline, which is pretty simple. Let's see here. Okay, so I showed you how to create so maintenance requests directly from the maintenance requests section here. You can look at another cool thing is in terms of managing your maintenance pipeline. You can look at your maintenance calendar. So if we're on a weekly view or a monthly view, you can see when things are scheduled to be done for your maintenance, and this allows people to allows your maintenance manager or scheduler to kind of have a stronger visual view of what your availability is for people that are supplying this maintenance. You could highlight this and create a new maintenance request directly here. Fix laptop. Let's create that. That's something that you could kind of go into, and we can edit this and determine who's responsible. John Doe, once again, jack of all trades. He is going to fix our Samsung monitor today on this, and let's say it's a preventative measure. Maybe he's just clean the filter and screen. Easy stuff, easy peasy. Save that, done. Now we have another maintenance request we just created, and it's all internal maintenance. So let's get back to our dashboard and see that our internal maintenance keeps growing because we got 5 now instead of 4, and that is pretty much how you do schedule maintenance within the maintenance application. Now, what if we're not in the maintenance application? What if we're manufacturing a product? Now, let's go into inventory. I created a product earlier called the Smart Mouse. Let's see here, Smart Mouse. So we've got this product that we've created. It's sold. We manufacture it, and we've got a bill of materials that we've set up for it. And the Smart Mouse bill of materials requires a graphics card built into an optical mouse. Obviously, a Smart Mouse. So from here, we can go into our manufacturing order, and let's go ahead and create a work order for the Smart Mouse. So manufacturing order, and I tested it earlier, but let's create another one just to show you how cool it is to create a Smart Mouse. So we load up a Smart Mouse. We're going to make one, and then we're going to save it, and all of a sudden the bill of materials is going to populate here, and we're going to check availability, and boom, we got all the parts we need to make a Smart Mouse. Let's do it. From here already, you can actually submit a maintenance request. If let's say you're drafting this work order and you're looking at your machine and you see a pipe hanging out, and you'll say that pipe doesn't belong there. Let's go ahead and create a maintenance request. You can do that here directly, but let's hold off. Let's pretend we didn't see that pipe hanging off, and let's go ahead and plan our Smart Mouse. So now we have a work order generated here. So we're generating this work order, and let's hop into this work order here, and what we have here, we are ready to process. And once again, here you have the opportunity to request a maintenance request. So let's process this. Let's start assembling this Smart Mouse, and we're doing it. And typically, this is where the picture of the Smart Mouse. Now, this is version 11. Released this new kind of look within manufacturing, and I'm still getting used to it, but I'm sure some of you guys are too. And let's say we're going to take a break and go get lunch, and then while we come back, we notice that hey, we want to send a maintenance request from here directly because we notice pipes hanging off. So let's say pipe is hanging, and from the equipment here. And now we may not have the equipment here listed and created, so let's just create one on the fly here. We'll just say Smart Mouse machine. We'll say it is, let's say it's a new. We'll create a new thing. We'll say machinery. Machinery. I think that's how you spell that. We'll say that, and the owner is myself. And the maintenance team will be our subcontractor, and it's used in production or something like that. We'll say work center. We'll say it's tied to assembly station 1, and we can add all this product information that we had before, but let's just, for the sake of this demo, let's keep it simple. Let's keep it going. Save that, and that's done, and we've created it. So and that's how you create a new one, but we don't need to do that, so discard. So we've submitted a maintenance request, so let's actually let's get out of here real quick. Let's keep this on pause. Actually, I want to show you something else. I'm sorry. For our Smart Mouse, instead of pause, we'll continue, and then once we notice that pipe is hanging, what we'll do is actually we'll hit a block. We'll block it, and we can block this because we'll say equipment failure, and we'll say, we can say pipe was hanging. Come on. Pipe was hanging, block it, and it's blocked. So let's get out of this place, and let's go see what our maintenance manager is going to be looking at right now. So if we look in here, and we look at our subcontractor, this is that pipe that was hanging. So typically, when you're in the process of manufacturing, block is a much better way of notifying the manufacturing process that you are stopping because there is a machine malfunction, not because you are incompetent or you're taking a break. So This is what the subcontractor team is going to look at, and then they're going to fix it. They're going to move it along. Now notice this little gray dot here. If it's blocked, it's going to be in red. If it's ready, it's ready for the next stage. So we'll just move it along. So we'll drag it along here. We'll say it's finally repaired. I think we need to make it green, and then go back to this, and then finally drop in repaired. So we fixed it. Now we can go back to our work order and complete our smart mouse. So we unblock it. It's fixed. Continue, and we've finished making our smart mouse. Mark is done, and that's it. So notice that because of this work order, we have these metrics here. So if we go here, we look at performance, and this is going to kind of touch into the reporting factor. So I think we're skipping around a little bit, but I really want to show you this. In terms of reporting, what we really want to look at here is we could set up maintenance requests directly from here as well. It'll take you right back to maintenance requests. Or if we go back here and we look at performance, this will show you the kind of duration. And this is the I forget what that view is. The Gantt chart of the smart mouse production. You can look at that, and you could look at the maintenance requests already established, but also if we look at it at the list view here, you can look at current work order performance and look at how long it took, and just kind of look at the work order and look at the maintenance request that was submitted there. So there's all kinds of ways you could get back to the same maintenance requests. But most importantly, let's go back to the dashboard. Our focus here is OEE, which stands for, one second, operational equipment effectiveness. So this 96% means 96% of the time this machine is working. It's down 40% of the time. Now look at this drill station here. We have a lower OEE as well, and there's also seems to be a block on this process. So let's take a look. What happened there? Cancel. So after I hit that button, all of a sudden just dropped down to 80%. So I think I must have lost a job that was in process. Regardless, this affects your OEE when you have to scrap a product, when you have blocks. This is a key metric for people when they're looking at how well their machinery and equipment is functioning. For a lot of companies that don't manufacture things, this may not matter. For companies that heavily manufacture things, this is a critical statistic for them to review and manage, because any downtime is money lost on their end. So that's that. And finally, I just want to cover parts, and then we're going to wrap this up. If we go back to inventory and we go into our products, now keep in mind, we say products, that's nomenclature that we think that these are things we sell, but in reality, Odoo, when Odoo says products, it's really anything within our organization that we bring in, whether it's computers we buy or machines we buy for manufacturing, or computers we give to our coworkers. These are all products, whether it's food that we expense for the office that we put into common rooms, and also products that we actually sell to people. And it also includes parts that are part of a bill of materials for products we manufacture. So whether it be a screw or a case for a computer that we manufacture, it's all going to be registered in Odoo's products. Now, what's helpful about Odoo's filters function is that you can actually easily kind of scroll through what your products are and how to you can use internal categories, which is what I've done here to set up a quick way to look at what parts you need to look at when factoring your bill of materials, or considering what needs to be maintained through your maintenance application. So internal categories contains parts. Apply that, and then let's look at the optical mouse. These two things were components within my smart mouse. So if we click on optical mouse, we can look at our manufacturing, and this all ties to different manufacturing orders that we may have submitted. So, and then that in turn will push into the manufacturing order, and then in turn link into the maintenance on any of those manufacturing orders. But that's pretty, it's a loose link into into maintenance. But really, the main focus now is I'm going to move into reporting, kind of wrap this up. Reporting and maintenance, there's typically reporting function within each one of our applications within Odoo. So if we look at our maintenance requests here, this is a stack bar chart, which really has no help in this situation. This is a pivot table that you can look at. You could customize this as much as you want based on the type of equipment, on the type of corrective preventative. So this is actually pretty helpful, and what a lot of people do is they'll generate their pivot table here and they'll export it here to Excel to maybe run more analysis on. They might run 2 or 3 different pivot tables like this. But what's a really cool and quick, easy way to kind of just see what's been happening within your maintenance request is you could just do this list view, and you can group by stages within the list view here. You could group by who's assigned to who. So yeah, that's a quick way to kind of report on it. So if you're grouping by assigned to, you can see how well the administrator or John Doe is fixing things and how quick he is to tackle these new maintenance requests. And yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of reporting. And then reporting for maintenance. Yeah, I think that covers it. Do you have any questions here?
Awesome. Well, yeah, first, thanks so much, Andrew. Great job. We do have a handful of questions. Let's actually start these with the ones from Noor Hamed. First, is it possible for the scheduled preventative maintenance to appear on calendar?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think I showed them that already. So if we go back let's go to equipment here. Let's go to machines and tools. Let's pick on the Samsung monitor and we'll edit this and product information, go to maintenance, preventative maintenance in 1 day, I think. Let's see how that works. And then let's save that. No, let's save that. Maintenance team is computer maintenance. Save that. Equipment. So on this, the Samsung monitor, there's a November 29th. It's scheduled for November 29th view. So let's take a look at maintenance requests. Let's do it on the calendar. Let me see here. I'll have to get back to you on that one, but I think it should on maintenance calendar.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely does populate in the calendar, and you can see deadlines on the scheduled activities.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah, I'm definitely calling it customer support. For some reason, it's not showing up either right now. Maybe I'm setting it up wrong. But it should be done. It should be able to be shown. And then, sorry about that. If you are, obviously if you're paying member of Odoo, you should feel free to call our support team. They should be able to help you out with that.
Perfect.
If that's not working.
And then from Jaime, there's a question. How can I modify the maintenance module so as to register like a variable location? For example, in the case if maintenance is done at the client location. Does that make sense to you? Like,
maintenance is done at the client location. So
Yeah,
I would create a new equipment team or a new maintenance team that goes out to, I would go to the dashboard here. I'd create a new, external maintenance or client site maintenance. And then you could, let's just use exterior maintenance, for example, and create a new maintenance request. So maybe you say, you type in the location here of the client and say, what they need to be refixed there. I think that's one workaround.
cool. Thanks for answering that. And then the next question is from Pete Block. Can the maintenance app link spare parts and inventory and consumable items such as filters and lubricants to the equipment app?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that you could probably build through Studio. So, what is it? Can link spare parts, inventory, and consumable items such as filters to the equipment. Yeah, I mean, that's probably something you're going to set up actually in inventory and something you would set up in inventory, and then as you consume them, you can almost do it. You can almost set it up so that it's almost like a manufacturing process. Within your manufacturing, you might have a work center for maintenance manufacturing or something like a manufacturing or a maintenance center here, and then as you actually finish doing that job, once you process the manufacturing maintenance thing here, it'll consume that item in inventory. Otherwise, you can also just try using Studio to link it to the maintenance page to let them know that you need to consume those products in relation to, repairing or maintaining that product.
Cool. And then the last question we have is from Zachary Richmond. Is it possible to have documentation linked to a specific piece of equipment? So basically, I think within the chatter and stuff, can you put additional components there?
Absolutely. So if we go to equipments again and we go to Samsung, we can add attachments right here on the very top. If you want to scan in the warranty or whatever instruction manuals you have for this piece of equipment, you can scan it in and add it here. You could add more product information here or just type it in and add it through chatter. So that's what I would do.
Awesome. And that looks like pretty much all the questions that we have for today. So thank you guys so much for your time. Actually, Andrew, would you mind bringing up your intro slide so people can have it and they can contact you if need be?
Sure. Yeah, that's my contact information, people. It's ast@odoo.com. Feel free to shoot me an email and give me a call if you want to buy Odoo. Let me know.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you want like some advice and for Andrew to take a deeper look into what your company does and how Odoo could be of assistance, you can schedule a link with him, and that link is put in the description of this video. And as always, thank you guys so much. We wouldn't be here without our community. If you have any additional questions about webinars or more general topics, you can send those directly to me at webinars@odoo.com. That's Andrew's email, so feel free to reach out to him directly too if you have some questions. And until next time, thank you guys so much. This is Odoo Live, signing off.
Thanks, guys.